Chainsaw Man is a manga series written by Tatsuki Fujimoto, and wow, it's been a blowout success within both the Eastern and Western manga communities, even before the anime adaptation came out. It feels like every week I see a cool piece of fan art, or a funny meme, or someone reading the series for the first time and becoming depressed as hell afterwards. It's one of the only mangas where whenever a new chapter drops, I read that shit immediately. It's honestly a bigger priority for me than One Piece. But why is that? Well, let me tell you why I think Chainsaw Man is very Kino. This analysis will focus on part 1 of the manga, which is the first 90 or so chapters of it, though don't worry, I have been reading part 2 week to week, and it's amazing. Anyway, Chainsaw Man stars Denji, a lone teenage boy who attempts to hunt devils to pay off his dad's debts along with a chainsaw doggy named Pochita. In a near-death moment for Denji, he forms a contract with Pochita to become a fiend, specifically the titular Chainsaw Man, who's basically just Devilman or a Kamen Rider but themed around chainsaws. However, after Chainsaw Man awakens, a mysterious woman named Makima threatens Denji to join her government-funded devil hunting agency, or she'll kill him, and Denji chooses the former, seeing as it's an opportunity to finally pursue the dreams he's always wanted to take on, like finally getting to feel a girl's touch, which may seem like a crass motivation to some, and yeah, it totally is. Chainsaw Man doesn't shy away from the more animalistic and vulgar wants of mankind, which is surprising for a Shonen Jump series. With its teenage to young adult characters, this makes sense, because those are usually the ages where those kinds of wants are seen as the most glamorous, and I think the series uses this graphic content very well, mostly in how gross yet stylized stuff like vomit and blood is drawn. Anyway, the story quickly sets into a status quo after chapter 1, as Denji joins his co-workers, Aki and Power, in hunting various devils that are running amok. Aki is a cool-headed yet rude dude, while Power is a loud and abrasive young lady who's not afraid to go unga-bunga on the enemies. This trio has wonderful chemistry, with Denji and Power acting like chaos gremlins, with Aki trying to keep them in check. Their interactions are super funny yet charming, and by the time the whole group faces a huge threat to their status quo in the Gun Devil arc, you really feel the bond that's grown between them. While there's lots of sick, bloody action to go around, I actually prefer when the series has its slice-of-life moments. There's a certain comfiness I find in these portions of the book, even when things are going really wrong. The way Fujimoto portrays houses and characters chilling gives a real homely vibe that I appreciate. I especially love how this comfiness is twisted into an unnerving atmosphere in the final arc of the book, but that's a bit spoilery, so let's talk about how these characters have drip. I freaking love how simplistic yet appealing the human characters and our main chainsaw-themed hero are, with their basic yet clean suits and ties drawn of a nice scratchy homemade pencil look compared to the hyper-graphic detailed nightmare fuel of the devils they go up against. It's a brilliant contrast to make the devils seem more threatening and the fight scenes easier to follow. The artwork in general is very slick, and a big reason why even if the anime is one of the best manga to anime adaptations ever, I'd still highly recommend checking out the manga, as it's a masterclass in easy to read, striking imagery. All the visual polish Chainsaw Man have is great, but I do love the series thematically as well. There's an element I have a personal bias about when it comes to storytelling that I don't heavily judge every story on, but when I do see it, it gives the media a higher likelihood to get my personal peak fiction approval. You see, I have a bias for stories that put focus on making the most interesting and likable character of the story the protagonist, because I think I'm cursed with that thing called terminal protagonist disease. Now, I do appreciate a good, stoic, shining beacon of hope protagonist any day of the week, but I find a personal fascination when the protagonist actively changes and reacts to the evolving plot they're in, and Denji fits that goal perfectly. He's a teenager, and being a teenager is a stage of your life that has you start to experience the responsibilities, pleasures, and horrors of becoming an adult while still having an underdeveloped simplistic mind about the world. Denji wants to accomplish his dreams, a very vague goal which he thinks will be a very in-and-out thing initially. If I touch a girl, then everything will be better, but that's not how it is, as when he does, he feels unsatisfied. And he continues to learn about all these nuanced and complex emotions throughout the series, until he just breaks down, not knowing what he even wants anymore. Is this how the world is? All this death, destruction, mayhem, craziness? Shouldn't he just give up? And he does for a while, but he ends up feeling nothing in return. Apathy and obedience to the world won't make ourselves feel better. It may seem that way initially, but at the end of the day, we're human. It's in our nature to want things, to love, to explore, to just live. In the end, Denji wins the day through his emotional honesty with himself about his freakish desires. This is who he is. He's a food-loving, girl-seeking, brash boy who just wants to rip and tear through his own path in life, doing everything he can as the Chainsaw Man. Anyway, that's the main thesis of the video out of the way. Let's talk about something stupid to close this off. A dumb headcanon, if you will. I present my argument for why Chainsaw Man is also a Kamen Rider. Okay, so the heroes and villains use the same seemingly evil source to fight each other, and a major theme is how nothing is inherently inherently evil, which is showcased with our hero taking action. Aki easily fits under the serious secondary writer trope, while Power can fit under the growing female tertiary writer trope. Also, Chainsaw Man looks like a tokusatsu hero with the armor bits, and also gets a berserker form power up later on, like Kamen Rider Build 01 and Saber. Those are the major talking points I had for the silly arguments I made in my brain. Anyway, I really love Chainsaw Man, so please go read it if you can. I might make more analysis videos in the future because I really want to delve into specific characters other than just Denji, because believe me, this series cast is layered. But for now, I'm off to get vanilla Coca-Cola.